Nina's theme, and I'm going to work out where to stand. Found in translation was so compelling. Obviously, is this a better place? That's a good place. I've been working with a wonderful alumni team to fabricate the huge TEDx sign in the entrance, which apparently, according to Ted, there's Brian from TED is here, he said it's the biggest TEDx sign that's been built in New York City. So we're winning. But I want to talk about design. I'm a designer. My background is architecture, but actually my secret is that I don't like architecture very much. But I do like design, and design is always in translation. If I can work this. Can somebody? There it is. Now, but I also like to work on big issues. And I'm going to stand with my back to the wall, which is probably the safest place to be. We work on big issues. And if you work on big issues as a designer, and you're an educator, you have to always think about questions of design and questions of translation, which refuse a singular approach. Now, here's a little bit of common knowledge, or commonplace wisdom, that in the world of big issues, there are experts who know a lot about a little, and generalists who know a little about a lot. And clearly this is a rather problematic position, because the way that grants are organized, the way that the aid business is organized, is in silos. If you think of those big issues, each of them tends to be organized vertically. And it's organized according to the logic of expertise. But I want to talk about a different idea. Let's think about sickness. A doctor once told me that if you're sick, you just want to get well. You don't care what you're sick of, you just want to get well. Now, of course, with a disease like malaria, a solution to malaria could be mosquito nets. And there are many, many people in the world who are delivering mosquito nets to communities where malaria is an issue. Now, if I told you that sometimes those mosquito nets are used for fishing, you'd be surprised. Well, maybe not, because in a way, maybe food is more of an issue than mosquitoes. And of course, if you've got a net but you haven't dealt with water, what are you doing? Because the habitat of the mosquito, as everyone knows, is stagnant water. And there are all sorts of different mosquitoes, and they like water of different kinds. So how do we think about this complexity, and what do we need to do? Now, I need a pot. And I'm going to do a little design problem for you. Here is a design object. This is a stone, which I had in my pocket. But like Beckett's Malone, I keep stones in my pocket. I had to put it in this one because there's a hole in this pocket. And I'm going to put the stone in the pot. Does everyone know what story I'm referring to? There's a lovely story which probably every child knows, which is called the stone soup. Every culture has one. There's a Polish story which is like it, which is the nail soup. There's also a wonderful Indian vegetarian version called a stone curry. But I'm going to put my soup stone, which is a particularly delicious soup stone, into the pot. There we are. And now I'm going to use a very important digital design tool to explain to you how you think about design. Here is a spoon. And I'm going to use this spoon to stir the pot, because I like mine stirred but not shaken. Now, everyone knows the stone soup story, right? A group of people arrive in a village. A small child comes out and meets them. They put everyone's scared because there's been a war. They put the pot on a fire. They put water in the pot. They look for soup stones. They put the soup stones into the pot. And then they ask people to go and get different ingredients. And slowly, 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 everybody brings the ingredients. They stir the pot and they make a delicious soup, which everybody can enjoy. And it is a perfect combination of flavors. And it's shared by everybody in the community in making the stone soup. But of course, the stone itself is unnecessary. And at the end of the soup, they can take the stone away and the soup remains. The question for design is, how do you make soup stones? And who do you make them for? And these are people that we're working with. These are children at a rural primary school in Kenya. We're building a school. And the issues that we have to deal with are precisely the big issues. Their poverty, their need for water, their issues with sanitation, their health, their food and food security and agricultural practices, gender equality, and education. But we need to do all of those simultaneously. Many of these children live in families that live on less than $1.25 a day. And we're building for them something that resembles this, but not quite. This is our proof of concept project, which was built in the port of LA 2 years ago. It is a rainwater harvesting street soccer tournament venue, which is also a school, a clinic, a meeting place, a farmer's market, and all sorts of things. One soccer pitch holds 1 million litres of water. We arrived at this design through translation, because we realized when we were sitting watching street soccer that the surface area raised 8 feet above the ground would hold 1 million litres of water. In rural Kenya, that means it can hold, over the year with 2 rainy seasons, 2.5 million litres of water for a community. That's an extraordinary resource to have at the centre of a community. And so what we do is we collapse, through translation, the expert onto the generalist. And we're thinking about this at Cooper now. How do you teach design, and what do you need to do? And my takeaway is this. If the big issues are to be addressed by design, designers must become expert translators. Thank you.